coming back to, we'll probably talk about maps more, but coming back to Steven's comment, I've talked about this before. I agree with buffing the seasonal pack. I don't think there's any amount they can buff it that will satisfy people. I think people will complain, well, you didn't do enough no matter what. At least what I assume they could reasonably do. Because it's just a math question. Hey, just jumping in before we continue with everything. Of course, I have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does, in fact, give me coffee for producing Phobies content. Just getting it in there, letting everybody know. But let's get back to the highlights. I've mentioned this before, but there was somebody who has a spreadsheet who calculated what the average rate it is, or how long it takes, or how much money it takes to get a full collection, or what the certain breakpoints, like a 50% collection, a 40% collection, or whatever. And the team decided that this scenario is better than this one because we hit this amount of money. Like, there's really nothing else to base that on, right? Like, there's no gameplay value to me outside of literally. So you could make an argument, and this is a valid game design argument. And this is like, yes, I am part of the content affiliate program. They give me coffee for producing Phobies content, but this is not a chill moment. There is a valid argument to not allow people at low ranks, low collection levels, low experience amounts to see or be, or even potentially be overwhelmed by an insane amount of mechanics. You're onboarding people. Don't just drown them. They can't drink the ocean of knowledge. Not in one go. So it's reasonable to, like, or there's an argument, we'll say, that is reasonable to say, hey, we're not going to, just dump a whole bunch of stuff on you, because you're not going to have a clue what to do. And you're going to be overwhelmed, and being overwhelmed, even if you're being overwhelmed with gifts, can be problematic for any game, because then you get in this moment of analysis paralysis, and a lot of people will just ultimately walk away from the game because it's like there's too much overstimulation, essentially, is what it boils down to. However, beyond the initial stages, like, all right, you've got your feet under you, you're not as green behind the ears, or whatever euphemism you want to use. Okay, fine, just let them get stuff. And I can't argue really hard against people that say, hey, I want a phobie shop where it's a rotating phobie, or you just buy any phobie, or you could craft a phobie, or you could do this to get phobies, or they just lower the prices or whatever. But there is a world where you have to take a step back and go, hey, it's a business. They need to make money for valid reasons. And we're all just asking for more free stuff. Which it sucks, because believe me, I would want more free stuff. I would love it if I still wasn't short despite getting the 8,000 coffee a month. Like, think about this. I've been getting 8,000 coffee a month for almost literally 2 years now. 8,000 coffee a month. Not counting the money that I put in before that, which was a couple $100, I think, and then periodically throughout. Like, I bought some of the sales. I bought some of the VIP passes, stuff like that. And I still don't have a full collection. Now, we're not talking about stress phobies, because that's a different thing, but, like, I'm still 27 phobies short. Some of those are stress phobies, and admittedly, all the ones that come out of packs are ultra rares. But imagine if that 8,000 coffee was a month, was me putting in money. And I've been playing. I play less now, and as I start out with, it's not because I don't want to play. It's just, there are times where I don't want to play, but it's not because I don't want to play Phobies. It's because I'm not in a mental state to play Phobies. Like, I'm not attuned to do it. I will screw up and I'll tilt, and then it won't be fun. But it's kind of bonkers to look at that and feel like that's okay. I understand some of the psychological arguments. As I've said before, once people get a full collection, I think most people will stop playing. They care more about getting the cute little monster and playing Gotta Catch 'Em All than they do about making the bar fill and numbers go up. I don't have any evidence to prove that, but that just seems logical, right? Like, it's way cooler to get a new Phobie than to get upgrade cards. Unless you're already invested in maybe hanging out on a Phobies stream, where it's like, no, I want upgrade cards for the thing so that I can actually use it. But for most people, that's probably not even going to matter because they're low enough stress and phobie level that who cares? They'll probably be like at level 3, if it's a decent ultra rare or something, it's probably playable anyway. I mean, the event pack, the chance for each thing. Oh, are you talking about like this pack thing? I mean, it's the same argument. It's the same thing. This and the season pack and the packs themselves, like the actual go into the store, buy packs, all of this is just a math equation. This is all 100% math saying, hey, this is how quick you're going to acquire things. And this, you know how I know this? Because I played enough physical card games with packs. Past a certain point, and this is the number that matters, at least in physical card games. In Phobies, this number is astronomical, and I think somebody had pointed out the number before, and I forgot what it was. I feel like Karst reposted it, but it was like an astronomical amount of like real-life money. Astronomical being like, I would never pay that. I don't think anyone should, but it's neither here nor there. When you talk about physical card games, what it boils down to is obviously how much money can you reasonably put into the game? And then how much money are you willing to put into the game? Because those are naturally going to be two different things. And you need to balance those with, real life things. And it comes down to like, hey, if you buy a case, like I talked about this, I bought a case of Star Wars Unlimited. I did not get at least one copy of every single card. There are cards that I have literally 0 of. I opened, it was 6 boxes at 24 packs apiece. So you can do the math there. And then in the packs, I think it's 15 or 16 cards, only one of which is a rare slot, but one could also be a foil slot, which is hypothetically any card. So you have air quotes 2 chances at the higher rarity things, because you could hit like a super cool version, a foil one, a hyperspace one, a showcase one, whatever. However, it's probably somewhere around like, because they publicly disclose these numbers of like how many legendaries or ultra rares you get, like how many packs it would take, how many packs or how many rares you get on average in a pack, how many, etc. And you could calculate it out, and it's probably 2-3 cases, which is probably around $2,000. That would be literally play sets of every card, and obviously and I'm making some assumptions here because I haven't crunched the numbers, and then an absurd amount of like extras, the equivalent of upgrade cards, but you can't do anything with them. But you would also get to physical games, so you could sell some of the stuff off to recoup the cost, assuming you have the time and energy and additional money for postage and shipping to do that, but there is that. Or if you bought it all in singles, you could easily build a singular deck, but not have everything for a couple $100, maybe less, depending on the deck you want to build. Or if you wanted to buy everything in singles, I'd have to go look it up, but it would be some cost. And then you have the expansions every year to keep up with the Joneses. How does that compare to Phobies? It's going to depend on the card game in question. I think Star Wars, Lorcana, Magic are a little bit on the higher end. Pokemon just kicks every other game in the junk because it's like pennies. Mostly because 99.9% of the cards are worthless. And the ones that are expensive or valuable from a play perspective, they get reprinted into oblivion to be pennies on the dollar. Not long after. Like a card will release, it's clearly a good card, it's $20. 2 weeks later, there will be 9,000 versions of it, and it'll be like $8. So as long as you can wait, you're going to get a deal. Unless you have a tournament coming up, there's no reason to pay extra. And it's the same thing for every rarity. They just go down by an enormous percentage. But to bring it back to Phobies, it all comes down to a big math equation of if you're the consumer or you're the dev, it doesn't matter. Where's the break point of now I have either enough, and then the other break point is I have everything. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm perfectly fine if they were to improve the event and give people better chances. I'm fine with them improving the packs. I'm fine with them improving any of these things. It's not going to happen. The only one that I could see possibly happening, well, in order of likelihood, the most likely thing that could happen is they improve the seasonal rewards. There is we'll call it a tangible incentive for the devs to do that. It encourages more people to play more. And if more people are playing more, that means they're in the app more likely to spend money. And if nothing else, the ladder is more populated, thereby making your whales happier. Now, the second most likely is that they improve the event rewards because, again, that kind of has a direct line to them making more money. More people are going to buy the event pass. It's already a good deal overall. You get way more value comparatively from the event pass, assuming you complete it, versus doing virtually anything else in the game. Now, I could be misspeaking here because I don't know all the numbers off the top of my head, but from what I recall, it's just way more value. Maybe some of the sales beat it out. I don't know. Or if like you specifically want a Phobie like the Mummy deal or something, there's no way to replace that because it's the only way to get a singular Phobie. The least likely is that they would ever do anything with the packs. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. They've set this precedent, and I don't think that's ever going to change. Partially from like a psychological value. There would be, believe me, people would shit a brick. Not everybody, but a good portion of the people who already bought packs would raise hell. They'd be like, oh my God, why don't you have to pay what I paid? I want a refund. And it's like, my guy, 2 years ago, you bought that. You knew what you were getting into. Like, you bought it. It's one thing if, like, you bought it the day before the prices were halved. It's another, but I promise you, it's the internet. An insane amount of people would be asking for refunds or credits to their account or something. And I don't know that this is something that they would have to crunch the numbers on their own side, how much it would, and kind of goes for the second point as well. Like, how will it increase? How much does it increase by? That's why I think they're not going to. Could they? I have no idea. Like, legitimately, I don't have a clue whether they could change any of the prices on this. That's financial data that none of us have access to, and none of us will ever know. Like, it wouldn't make any sense for them to disclose that. But, I mean, I've always said, and if you go back, it's funny, like, I kind of want to go back and rewatch. Maybe I'll do that one stream. Go back and rewatch my own initial thoughts on Phobies. But I distinctly recall bringing it up like, hey, the monetization may be a problem. I don't know. And it's kind of hard to say it isn't. Right? Like, it's pretty hard to say that there isn't an issue, at least to some degree. You could debate how bad it is, what the solutions are, or anything like that, but I think you'd be hard pressed to say that it isn't expensive. We obviously have evidence of people that you can win against higher. It isn't 100% pay to win, but I think it's not like a gacha game where because the players have input, they have control, as compared to a gacha game where, like, you put in more money and your guys are better and they will just 100% of the time beat something that's lower. That isn't true here. You can win as the lower ranked or lower leveled player. And we've seen plenty of examples, like Cosmos is the running joke lately. Not because they're a joke, but like because they're bodying people with like literally level 1 phobies, and they're at 80 or 100 stress level differentials. It's comical, but the average player is not going to be able to do that. Which I guess maybe that's fine. Kind of the end of the day, some of the argument is get good. But in general, the acquisition of phobies is going to be independent of... It does directly correlate, as we were talking about in the map discussion, to people's enjoyment to the game from a strategic perspective. If I just don't have the tools to combat a particular thing, I'm SOL. But at the same time, there's a get good argument where clearly it can be done, right? Clearly you can beat the levels.